day to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I am pumped. I'm pumped today. We have Randy Hilarski in the house. It's gonna be a good episode. It's gonna be the episode. We did some pre-chat. It's a pre-stream backstage, some alpha backstage, a little bit of that. And I don't know. I didn't even know what the word alpha meant until like a couple months ago. People saying it. They said based. I didn't know what base meant either. I don't know. I just don't. I'm not like in the lingo of the internet very much. I tend to live real life a lot too. But I've been learning. But I don't know. I'm also pretty modest in a lot of ways. So like even using the word alpha is kind of strange to me. But I don't know. You're on YouTube. You're on the internet. I guess you gotta play that every once in a while. So I'll do it. Underground. Actually, me and Steak Wealth were talking the last stream, and I forget what we were talking about. But you can watch the stream and see. But we were talking about underground alpha and how like if you're here right now, if you made it past Bitcoin and you found HEX and you made it past HEX and you found Hedron, you made it past Hedron, and you found all these other like derivatives of Pulse, derivatives of HEX, derivatives of other things like that. It's funny, like that's when people talk about it, that's underground alpha. I guess we're kind of coining that term. Anyways, I'm gonna say hi to the chat. Stop rambling. Mango Junkie's in the house. What's up, Mango Junkie? Appreciate all y'all's support. I've been gaining subs lately, and I appreciate that. That is awesome. Number go up. We like number go up, don't we? That's the funny thing about subs and stuff. Usually number don't go down. Knock on wood. It's usually up. There's no bear market for subs that I know of. So that's a cool thing. Welcome, Coco. Randy Hilarski, he's here. He's interacting with the chat too. He's got his YouTube window pulled up as well. Sensei Dozy, what's up? Great video. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think every interview I have pretty much, I go into it. I don't know, some of them I go into, I'm like, okay, I think we have some good stuff to talk about. And then usually at the end of it, I'm like, wow, that was a great interview. I'm a little surprised. I didn't expect that much. And then sometimes I go into it, I'm like, oh, this should be good. And then it's usually based. I didn't know. Somebody said based the other day. They just commented one line based. I'm like, what does that mean? I think it's a good thing though. Yes. Hello, Jerry. What's up, Jerry? I haven't read your comment yet. I'm gonna post it. I have a Telegram link for the show later. Yes, Jerry. I will show your link. I know what you're talking about. Good stuff. Completion film. What's up, family? How's it going? Everyone, this is the RHMax show where we prefer to have substance. We like to have substance here. So we like to cover things that are interesting and share that information with you. And no monetization, not sponsored, none of that stuff. I have no paid group. If you do have a paid group, that's cool too, whatever. But don't have any of that stuff. You're getting based truth here. There you go. I dropped one for you. Based truth, or what I feel to be as such, anyways. All right. Without further ado, Randy, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
I'm glad
Come on, you didn't know what alpha and based were? Come on, man. This is internet.
Okay. I think I definitely didn't know what base was. Alpha, I was like, that sounds. I kind of extrapolated the meaning. I was like, okay, that sounds like good stuff, like I don't want to say testosterone filled stuff, but it almost sounds like a masculine term. It's kind of like things you can't get elsewhere that are strong, pervasive, things like that. But I don't know.
Just think wild animals, the alpha male in the pack,
Yeah,
or alpha female.
Dominance, but how do you say it? So with language, dominant language, there's kind of a little bit, there's a path you have to take to actually, get there, but for me at least. So, but now I know what it means and I will never, ever, ever forget. Randy, for those of us who don't know, and I think you have from what I've learned from other streams and stuff, I think you have a fascinating backstory, and where you're living is, different than a lot of people too. You want to kind of bring us into how'd you come up with your name? It sounds like your real name. I'm going to assume that.
Yeah, it's my real name.
There you go.
But I'll talk about that. That's a good topic, actually.
Why your parents named you that? You can talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, because I truly believe that if you really want to make it far, you have to stick to one name. And my God-given name or my family-given name is very rare. Hilarski is not a common name. Because when they moved to the U.S., they added SKI to the end of the name just to help with the immigration purposes, that kind of thing. So it was Hilar, and they added ski at the end to make it look Polish, right?
Oh, okay.
So my family came over, did that, And my name is so rare that it makes sense for me to stick to it because it's a good brand. Because I didn't have any trouble getting URLs and those kind of things when I first got into social media, and my name sticks out. When I was in the Navy, or my Master Chief Petty Officer, he used to call me Hilarski, so that kind of stuck to me. I was always hilarious. I was never Hilarski. I was always Hilarski. So there was things like that. I was always a joker and like to have fun, and always in trouble. So. So social media is made for me, man. So I just stuck to my name. Nice.
No, I think some people use their full name. Some people have internet names. Some people have good and bad. Reminds me of Richard saying, if you can't spell your name, or if you have to spell it to somebody or pronounce it in a certain way, and then he writes a book called Scivive that nobody can. But he also gives diet advice, and we know that he doesn't diet a lot these days either. So. Just the funny Richard Hart things we like to talk about.
Well, it's really easy for when you start typing in my name at Google. If you get to Hilar, I'll come up. I'll be there. So it's really easy. Very cool. Because there's nobody else, no competition for my name.
Well, how'd you get into crypto? How'd you get into Richard Hart? All that stuff, and we can come on anytime you want to.
Yeah, sure. Gold and silver guy. I'm a Ron Paul. He was my main man back in 06.
Pragmatic libertarian here, by the way.
Yeah, cool.
We'll get into that too. Oh, you had me. I like it. It's either that or go Brandon. I knew he was going to be one of them.
No, I'm not. I'm far from being a Republican. So I was gold and silver. I did very well with gold and silver. Had a lot of fun. My family made a lot of money on gold and silver. Primarily silver, because we had that huge run up in 2011, but I got everybody in at 2006, 2007.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. It really, I was reading books like Crash Proof by Peter Schiff, and just going down the whole Federal Reserve System and learning how everything worked, listening to Ron Paul, and those kind of things. So getting to know Jeff Berwick, who I then began to work for a couple of years later, Jeff Berwick, Dollar Vigilante, and people like that. So Tekoa da Silva, he was really big. Now I think he's with Stansberry Research. So that was my initial thing, was gold and silver. But when I came to Panama, my partner was a South African gentleman, Mike, and we were in the car one day, and he's like, "Hey," I was already writing articles about gold and silver. He's like, "Hey, what's going on with this Bitcoin thing?" And I said, "Well, I don't know much about it, but I hear all my libertarian friends talking about it." And this is 2011. And I said, "This is really cool." And he said, "Let's put $3,000 into it." Okay. I was like, "There's Jerry. I'm it, man. Just one, brother. Just one."
Just one.
So, so I don't know what happened. We forgot about it. We just didn't do anything.
What price it was at the time?
It was $7 Bitcoin.
$7. Wow. Okay.
$7.
Not $7,000.
$7. So if I would have put $3,000 in, I would have been very wealthy early on, because that's before I did that $1,100 run. Went to $1,100 right before, like 4 months before. So it was great timing. I started to learn. I was writing about Bitcoin, but I didn't own any. So I didn't own my first Bitcoin until January 2014. So it was not the beginning of the bear market, but about a year into the bear market. And from then it went down from 450 down to about 250. I'm one of those people got into it for the tech. I wasn't getting in it to make money. I really thought that this was really cool. Let's, take the Federal Reserve down. Let's nuke this system. What's that movie where they Fight Club at the end when they blow up the whole financial system? I love that movie. That symbolism to me is so amazing. So when this Bitcoin thing came out, I was like, "Hey, this is really cool. This could be the beginning of something huge." And I've been in it ever since 2014. Been full-time crypto since 2016, and loving it.
Was 2014 the first bear market for crypto?
No, the first one was the one that Richard went through, where it went from 30 down to $2.
Okay.
But I don't know how long that lasted. I think that was just a couple month bear market. Remember, they get longer each time. The bear markets get longer each time.
Okay. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Hey, it's okay. Bear markets is the time you accumulate. That's when you get rich. You don't get rich in a bull market.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who are new.
Not popular knowledge. Not popular knowledge.
Buy as much as you can. So that's just how it worked out for me, and I've been in crypto ever since. And it was November 2019 when I was just on YouTube watching videos, and somehow the algorithm showed me the video for Bitcoin HEX, and I just watched it, and I put some ETH aside and got ready for the launch in December. And I went too big on day one and put all my ETH in the first week. I FOMO'd, but it paid off huge dividends.
Yeah, funny enough, even FOMOing back then, of course, there's always even at that time, Richard was like, don't FOMO day one, don't FOMO all this stuff. And then, but a lot of people did, and
Sure
long
did.
enough time horizon, it works out.
Yeah, it still worked out. And Uncle Will says, how do I keep my camera out of the water when I stream? I'm not streaming, I'm just recording, right? So I have a DJI. I don't have it here right now. It's this really small handheld thing, and it works really good. It's not waterproof, but I don't go swimming. I don't go far out. I go up to my shoulders, and it's not like our waves are huge and gonna take me under or anything.
Okay, nice. So what made you live in Panama? How'd you get down there?
So this is 2011, actually 2010. I was so lonely, man. I had just left. I was living up until 2008. I was living in Tampa, Florida, with my brother, who got sent to Iraq to do his stuff. He was Navy intelligence, and things didn't work out the way we were supposed to. I was working at a hospital in Tampa. I'm not going to get too into the private stuff out because of the other people that are involved. But I said, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to go home to Rochester. Buy a house, because the stock market and the housing market had collapsed. This is 2007, 2008. It was really hard at the hospital I was working at. Everybody was suicidal from losing everything, and it was taking a toll on me too. So I needed a break from nursing. So I said, okay, screw this, I'm going home. So I went home. I bought a house in upstate New York, Rochester area. I picked it up for $19,000. It was an old house built by Kodak. Beautiful old colonial, huge, and we remodeled it for about 13 grand. Wow. Yeah, it was. We turned it into an amazing house. All right, I lived right by the zoo in Rochester, New York, and it was great and everything, right? And I was working for Volkswagen again, which I always did. I would go from nursing back to Volkswagen, because that was always my backup, because I was a master Volkswagen salesman. So all I had to do was walk into a dealership and I'd be hired on the spot. And wow. That's what I would just do, that back and forth. So I was never without a job. And I did that for 3 years in Rochester. Had a beautiful house, and I was close to my parents and got to hang out with them, which was cool. But I was so lonely, man. I always had this bug in me ever since I was in the military. I was a traveler. I had to be out there. I had to be experiencing new cultures, had to be around other people who are also had that travel vibe going on. You're a traveler yourself. You're telling me. Mm-hmm. If people who don't travel don't understand. There's something about it being in another culture that's not yours. And I just made up my mind one day. I said, okay, I'm not accomplishing what I want in life. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just spinning my wheels. Nothing's really happening. I'm not happy. I'm not making any friends. I had my best friend. I would keep in touch with him. He was in my town, but he was it, right? So I don't know. When you get older, it's difficult to make friends. It's just normal like that. So I met a girl online, and she was Panamanian, and I had been stationed here in '97. Back in '97, I was here doing drug interdiction with my squadron, and I said, you know what? Let me go visit her. So I came down here in August 2010, again in November 2010, and then again in March 2011. And at that time, the third time, I said, you know what? I'm moving down here permanently. So I did. I moved down in May 2011. And during that time, from March to May, I started contacting companies in Panama. Like, look, this is what I do. I'm a marketing guy. I do sales. Do you need anybody? And there was a gold and silver company that was hiring sales team. So they hired me. It was commission only, but it was no problem. I was an online guy. I did all the online sales at my Volkswagen Mazda dealership. So I would do the Facebook pages. I was running Facebook ads and those kind of things. So I already had a basic understanding of how to run ads and stuff like that. So I said, I'm going to do that with gold and silver. So I came down and I was crushing it, man. My bosses, this is a cold call center. One of the boiler rooms?
Yeah.
Guys just all day calling people, hey, do you want to buy gold and silver? Do you want to buy gold and silver? All day long. That's all they were doing. I never once picked up the phone. Ever once. Even when I closed deals, never once did I pick up the phone. I would email people, they would email me. I would email them back. I would go into chat rooms for gold and silver and precious metal, anything about, libertarian and that kind of stuff. I already had a name for myself. So I didn't have to prove to people who I was. I'd be like, hey, Tom, how you doing, man? You want to buy some gold? Yeah, I'll pick up 30 grand worth. It was like that. So they said to me, the company, the German guys, they're like, hey, can you do this for all of our companies? And I said, sure, I could do this. So they ended up giving me a partnership with one of the companies. It was a marketing company, along with my South African friend. They ended up screwing me in the end, but it's okay. I got to get my hand, into Panama, or get my feet in Panama, had a nice salary for my first year and a half or so, get my feet on the ground, get my apartment, get to know the culture a little bit, have my first apartment, the first place, pay rent, learn how to pay the bills, all that kind of stuff. So I'm thankful for that. And it ended up, allowing me to stay here. And it taught me a lot of stuff.
We hear Richard talk about his Panama story and stuff too, which just sounds like a few years before he moved down there. But how do you reconcile? And I know, Richard talks about that's like one of his key stories to tell to make a point during interviews. But I think the big message is, watch out if you go to Panama. But for you lived there for a long time. How do you reconcile those two things, like the sides, the dark sides he talks about with what you've experienced?
Richard came here rich. He came here naive. He came here and he used bearer shares. Panama used to allow bearer shares. Mm-hmm. If you own a bearer share of something, if you have it in your hand, you own it. If somebody takes that from you, they put a gun to your head and they take your bearer share, they now own it because it has no name on it. It's just an account.
The bearer.
A bearer share. So whoever bears it owns it. So Richard made a big mistake, and he admits making the big mistake. So they took advantage of him. Nowadays in Panama, bearer shares are no longer available when you buy stuff. You have to do a corporation, and the corporation's in your name, and you have 2 more officers and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more difficult to rob people now. But 15 years ago or 12 years ago, whenever that happened to Richard, that was a normal practice in Panama for years. That's how they wash money. They just own bearer shares. So you have this paperwork in a folder, and you want to transfer it to your buddy, just hand it to him. It was that simple. And say that you had this building was owned by a bearer share. I could give it to you. Now you own the building. So that was pretty rough, and that's no longer a practice in Panama. So I came here with nothing. I came down to Panama with $3,000 in my pocket. My girlfriend at the time, I had set up a daycare. She quit her job at the Hebrew Academy. She was a master's degree mathematician. She was a Jamaican Panamanian, so she spoke fluent English. So she was an English teacher and a math teacher. So I paid for her to open up a daycare. We set it all up. It was a whole house. And it was amazing. It was totally inspected. She was making 2 to 3 times the money that she made as a teacher. So when I first came down here, everything was pretty good. Even though I only had $3 grand in my pocket, there was already income coming in from a business that I paid to set up. So that went really well. But after the breakup, I didn't have access to any of that anymore. So I was on my own after about 6 months because it just wasn't working out, and which was fine. I had a beautiful apartment. I lived right on the park in downtown. I could walk to the office. Casinos are all around my house, so I love hanging out at the casinos, doing that kind of stuff. Panama's fun. It's a total blast. Even if you're single and you have no friends, it's not hard to make friends here.
Is it a good place for? Because I know you would describe yourself as an anarcho-capitalist, right? How do you? Is it easy to be the and maybe explain the difference between libertarian and anarcho-capitalist type of thing too? But being in Panama, is it easy to have those values and kind of exercise those type of things you want to do being down there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite easy. I've never lived anywhere before where I can yell at the cops and get away with it. So, for example, about 6 months ago. There's a double line on a road, and there's this one spot that everyone does a little U-turn and goes through Metropolitan Park, which is the jungle in the middle of the city. So there's no way to get in there unless you do this little U-turn. So the cops were up the street a little bit. They had a whole team of about 10 of them, and they were watching for everyone that did this little U-turn thing. So I did it like I always do, because the street leads right back to my neighborhood, right to where I live. And these fuckers, they pulled me over. I rolled down my window. I said, "Dame mi boleta," like, give me my ticket. I started screaming at him. The cop didn't know what to do. He froze. He's like, "What the fuck's this gringo yelling at me for?" He's wasting my time. I know I broke the law, but I've done it 1,000 other times. This is just the first time the cops were waiting on the corner. I don't have time for this bullshit. They want to ask me for $20. So I can, okay, here's $20. Go on your way, gringo. Pay off a bribe. I wasn't paying a bribe. I'd rather pay the full goddamn ticket. Just give me I'm not wasting 20 minutes to pay you a bribe. And they were like, okay, 1 second. Within 30 seconds, I had my ticket and I was on my way. So
Wow.
I was going off on him. I was so pissed. It's like, how are you wasting my time? I was already in a bad mood. But nowhere else where I lived, I could get away with that. You can carry in Panama, which is great. And I could have multiple guns in my house. You can own as many guns as you want. You have to wait 6 months in between each purchase. So if I buy one, wait 6 months, get another one, wait 6 months, and you can only buy 300 rounds. I think it's 300 rounds per day. Max is 300 rounds per day. Okay, all right, I can handle that.
I'm not sure what problem that solves, but all right.
Yeah, so anarcho-capitalist and libertarians they're still conforming to the system, right? They still believe that you have to have people to guide you along. They still have to have a government. You still have to all the kinds. I really don't think there's any use for government. I'd rather just full anarchy and just trust your friends, trust your people around you. I know it sounds crazy, but it's worked for ages. That's how the system used to be.
Make it sound less crazy, because when people say they hear anarchy, they think in the movies, it's going to be just everyone just murdering everyone, blah blah blah. But like,
I believe in anarchy. So let's not go with anarchy. Let's just use the capitalist side. I believe that money makes the world go round. So I will pay you for what the job that you do, and whatever that is, that's fair. I don't believe there should be any rules between me and me making money. If I agree with you for a certain price and you take that, that's fair and equitable. It should not be somebody else coming along and saying, "Oh, you got to pay this." I just don't. I don't believe in that. I'm all into capitalism. I know some people don't like it, but I think I've never seen someone try to climb over the walls or under the fence of a capitalist country to escape. Never. You never hear that, or try to break in, or try to get into a socialist country. You never seen capitalist people trying, lines of them trying to get into a socialist country. Why? Because they're not free. They're in bread lines. You don't see people banging down swimming across from Florida to go into Cuba. So I'll fight for capitalism all day long. All anarchism is there's no rulers. That's all it means. There's no rulers.
Do you think it's easier to live in places like Panama, for example, than America for those kind of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What are some of the biggest differences?
Biggest differences? If I want something done, all I have to do is pay for it. That's it. It's just anything I want, I just pay for it in Panama. And it just, I like that kind of a system. There's stuff that everything's illegal. They still have all the issues with drugs and all that. That stuff's all illegal. But as long as you're not breaking the local rules and you pay off the right people, you could probably get away with it. There's rules for the haves and the have-nots. That's just how it is around the world. And that kind of a system works for me because I've done well. And even when I wasn't doing well in Panama, I still enjoyed the privileges of doing well because I made friends with the right people. And I talked to the right, I hang out with other libertarians and other ANCAPs.
Is that the biggest criticism then? Is kind of like it accentuates the have and have-nots type system? Is that what people mostly criticize? This type of freedom.
Yeah, sure. But try to go have a lemonade stand in the U.S. I can go downstairs right now, set up a lemonade stand in Panama, and no one's going to bother me. No one. No one's going to give a shit because it's a free and open market. You can do what you want. You do what you want until the competition drives you out or they pay off somebody to drive you out. That's the kind of stuff. That's stuff I don't like because that's more fascist. But that's just how Panama works. If someone stomps on you, you just go to the next thing. And it's just it's a market of constantly keep trying until you find something that works because you're allowed to here. I don't have if I'm hungry right now, and I saw this morning at our beach house, a guy needed some food for his family. All he did was go out and wade in the water and go fishing. You do not need a fishing license to go fishing in Panama. If you're hungry, you go fishing. Simple as that. I love it.
I do like that. Okay. And yeah, I think there's so many things you hear things until you actually go to a place and find out what it is. I mean, it's kind of the story of everywhere. Is you hear a place is really nice and you go there, have a bad experience. Whether that's the normal experience or not, you'll have that impression. But I think it's really interesting to hear people who've lived there, been there a long time. They have certain values, and then hearing, how they align with those values where you live, and especially the difference between that and America. I think that's really fascinating from again the libertarian, the anarcho-capitalist angle.
U.S. is tough, man. I mean, obviously I'm from there. I'm from New York, and New York State is pain in the ass.
Well, New York State, yeah. New York State and California, I would say, are outliers on the way. I mean, there's still country in America, and if you live outside the city limits in a lot of places, in Texas, for example, you can see a lot of stuff there that's, you can have a lemonade stand in a lot of places and not be bothered. I would say, even in Panama, though, you said, unless someone pays you take it down, with that example, the lemonade stand, well, if you have it, but someone else doesn't want you to have it. But, in America, you could say, okay, well, rule of law, things like that would protect you from a lot of that too.
The rule of law is not going to protect you in Panama. Sorry, that's just not. It's not there to protect you.
Maybe a trade-off. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not going to help. The cops aren't going to protect you. That's not going to protect you. As we saw with Richard, his assistant didn't make it. So he had a bad experience. But everyone's got different experiences. I was prepared for Panama because I lived in Sicily for 3 years. I lived in southern Italy, ruled by the mob, total mayhem. My landlord was the local mob guy, the head mob guy. I'd walk into a restaurant and say there were 20 people waiting. Because I lived in one of his houses, he sat me first. So I learned a lot when I lived in Sicily. And Panama's not quite as bad, but it's similar.
I see. Wow. Well, fascinating to hear. That's one discussion I want to get into with, and we can circle back later on too if people have questions.
Sure.
But then wanted to get to a couple of questions that I've been neglecting. Somebody asked about 5 token, and I believe you're referring to the one from Silvertooth, Deep Stakes. And I love Silvertooth, but I don't know much about the token. Randy, you know anything about it?
No, I just saw him tweet it out, but I haven't. I don't plan on claiming it or asking for it. It's getting to the point now where there's so much stuff happening that I'm kind of losing interest in all the new stuff. It's just I'm waiting for PulseChain to launch, or PulseChain and PulseX to launch.
A lot of new coins. Tommy Valve, how can we get one of those awesome Pulse lights in your background, Randy?
It was in the. Let's see. I can't remember the name of the Telegram group. It was a British gentleman who was selling them. I'll pull it up. Maybe I'll tweet it out later for you guys if I can find it and see if he's still selling them. He's British, but now he's living in France. So after he moved to France, I don't know if he's still selling them. So he had those. He had some HEX lights. I have a HEX light too, but it's in the shape of a heart. And everyone's like, oh, what's that? They can't recognize it really. So I stopped using it.
I see you got Pepe, you got Ethereum, you got HEX.
You got Bitcoin.
And
see that one? It's kind of hard to recognize.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is very hard to recognize. I get it once I kind of look at it like really close, but I mean, it's cool though. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's hard to point out.
Yes. Before we pivot into HEX, PulseChain, all that stuff, I need to go take care of something real quick. You want to talk to the chat just for like 60 seconds?
Sure. Right, so how can we get one of those? Okay. So, yeah, Jerry, my rent was always paid on time, but he took care of me. He didn't charge me a lot of rent. I think I paid at the time, you're talking about 97, 98, 99. I was paying about $400 after you converted the Italian lira to USD. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm already losing the weight from leaving Italy. 2 months in Italy, I gained like 15 pounds or 7 kilos for you guys who speak kilo. Yeah. Crypto fatigue. Yeah, crypto fatigue. That's exactly what it is. I'm tired of all these new launches, even though, yeah, if they had airdrops, cool. Give me those free airdrops. A high from Portugal, and turtles only. You get 10x multiplier on 5 token airdrop if you are married to your cousin. That's messed up. All right, so I want to talk about something I thought was pretty cool. So, hey, Bitfinesse. Yes, still rocking with guns, tankers, and T-shares. You know, let the gays marry, or let the gays marry. Let my kid have a tank. I'm all about that ANCAP, man. So, as far as Hedron is concerned, I want to bring up Hedron because I thought that I wanted to share something really cool. So I hadn't touched my Hedron in months. I was on vacation. I didn't have my keys with me, and I went in and checked my Hedron the other day, and I had quite a bit of Hedron. I was able to like cash that out, and I thought that was really cool. It's like having endless airdrop. We were talking about it in the green room. I just wanted, yeah, that was cool.
I had Alex on the other day, and he described Hedron as like a Bitcoin miner for HEX. So you could just keep mining HEX with it.
So what I did is I turned a lot of it just into new HEX at a much cheaper rate than what it was just a couple months ago. So man, badass. I love it. And yes, I was there for the Icosa launch, and I actually bought Icosa within the first 24 hours. I staked Icosa. I bought a WATSA, a WAATSA NFT. I probably should buy a couple more, and just to have them in different wallets. But yeah, Icosa seems more like a stable coin.
The minting was crazy. So Icosa and then the WATSA NFTs, where we got like 8 more days you can mint, and then those. What is the deal again? They do you stake them again? Yeah, let's get into.
No, you don't stake WATSA. I don't think you stake the WATSA. You can stake the Icosa though.
Yeah, but don't you earn Icosa from having the WATSA NFT? Is that what it was?
But you don't get them until you burn that NFT.
You got to burn it. That's okay. So they accumulate over time, and then you burn the NFT to get the Icosa back. That's what it was. Okay.
Yep. And what it's looking right now, it looks like Icosa is like a stable coin with HEX. So it's moving up and down with HEX, and that's really badass. So imagine what our Icosa could be worth. And same thing with Hedron. HEX was doing really well, and Hedron started moving back up, and moved back down a little bit now. Maybe because of the Icosa drop. I don't know why. But whatever.
I'm a fan of the HEX derivatives, the any Pulse derivatives, stuff like that. I mean, if you believe the blue chips are going to do well, maybe if you have another token, especially if they do buy and burns and stuff like that, if there's another token tied with that, or you can stake it, things like that. Like, to me, positive feedback loop, no brainer. Right?
Think about it. We got our HEX. We staked our HEX. We got our T shares and our B shares. Now our B shares are paying us Hedron, and we could sell the Hedron to buy more HEX to get more B shares. Oh my God. And then if you take the HEX and you stake it on Hedron, you get your HSI, you turn the HSI stake into an NFT, you then burn the NFT and you get Icosa, which you can stake the Icosa. Holy shit, man.
It's really this, all this game theory is like, it just doesn't, it's giving you a reason not to sell, not to create sell pressure, and until you get to the asset, to the time and point of the asset you want to extract value for. And even then, maybe you don't sell, maybe you take a loan against, and all these things. It's fascinating, all the stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Maxi. We can talk about Maxi and Team and that stuff coming out too.
Yeah, I sold my Maxi. I sold it when it was about a 1.8x or 1.5. And but I got my barber into Maxi, and he's so happy. He's 80. He's only not 80, quite like 77. And he's like, well, I don't want to stay for 15 years. I'm like, I understand. Then just get Maxi. And he is so happy so far. He's like, this is so cool. Because I've never seen our money grow like this. And so he's doing really well with it.
Wow. That's I think Dipcatcher would be happy to hear that story. Wow.
Yeah, he's cool with it. I mean, I actually don't own any Maxi myself at the moment, but if it dips down, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I think the biggest prop with Maxi is it's hard for a lot of people to buy it right now. It's getting easier to because of Team and because of perpetuals and stuff coming out. But at first, when it was just Maxi, I think it's really hard for people to buy it because the time horizon is kind of like, you know, it's going to follow the HEX price. The derivative aspect is awesome of it. But to really get the value that it's going to be in 15 years, you kind of got to wait. You got to wait till the stake ends. And that's a long time. So I think with people buying, if it was just Maxi, I think Team will change that a little bit too. But if it was always just Maxi, I think it would be like, you would see a lot of people buying Maxi at 5 years and 10 years from now and things like that. Not within the first 5 years as much, because then you're getting closer and closer to the mega payout that's going to come with the Hedron as well.
Can you imagine?
That's in 15 years, if you're around and you have Maxi, that's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, waiting for that Maxi discount. Yeah, we might be sleeping. We might be waiting a long time for that one.
Now with Teams and perpetuals, I don't know if there's going to be much of a discount going on. Maybe it will stay at 1.8. Who knows?
Yeah.
Max true value is 1.8. Yes, that's a good point. So the true value as of now, and then, but again, Team, perpetuals, and then what's the 5-year value, the 10-year value, the 15-year value?
Yeah,
those things change. But like for now, yeah, that's a point. People say that, but it's kind of like, I don't think it's the most useful way to look at it. It's good to know and to factor in, but it's not painting the whole picture. But that's a great point, Turtles only. That is true. What else we got? Somebody asked a question here. I want to get to it. Oh, the free claim. Yeah, we're talking about free claims. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just so many, and I try to limit my consciousness. And even with free claim, I know, okay, the argument is free money, but to me, I think that's really the carrot. That's the carrot. Oh, we get you interested. Okay, now I got some. Now it's free. Now I'll sell it. But now I know about it, and now I have a relationship with it. Maybe I've been in Telegram. Maybe I know people have it. Maybe I've talked people into getting it. The social pressure of building the community around the token when it was just a free claim, you got to be careful with that. Unless you really want to be in it, the free claim is a lot of times just a carrot to get you in, and now you're going to be trading it. Now you're going to be promoting it, all this stuff. So that's
what happens. Well, that's happened with Hedron, and now we're all addicted to Hedron.
There's projects worth being addicted to. There's not all free claims are created equal. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true.
10 Top, what's up? What's up? Crypto Compassion's here as well. Wait on this guy. Game Theory and Icosa. Yeah, Game Theory is pretty crazy. What are you most excited for as far as community projects? What are you most excited for this? Like, what are the projects do you think are just going to be unbelievable? Whether it's the positive feedback loop or the utility or onboarding, like what are your picks for 2023 as being like really solid stuff?
Can we get PulseChain to launch? That's all I'm asking. Come on, Richard.
We're past that, Randy. We're past launch. Okay, we're not talking about launch anymore. Next year.
Yeah, I want to see Liquid Loans launch. I've never been able to use a project like Liquid Loans and not having to sell and be able to take loans out against my money is genius, and I can't wait for that to happen. It takes away the sell pressure, and once people get to learn it, I will, as long as it works, Randy will be a huge promoter of Liquid Loans once it launched, or fiat.io, because they seem to be similar, except fiat.io seems like it's going to have some more features, including being able to short HEX. It's going to have derivatives. It's going to have things like that. That's cool. I've invested in both, the same amount of money in both. So, if either one works for me, but I think the stable coin, the LUSD, is going to be very important because we see the issues with the stable coins right now, whether it's USDT or USDC. USDC because they have the keys, USDT because we're not quite sure if the backing is really there. They're trying to verify. There's always an issue with USDT. So it'd be cool to have a good algorithmic stablecoin. I think LUSD is going to be that. So if Jesse is listening, thank you, Jesse, for bringing liquidity to PulseChain and making this work for us. So that's the one I'm most excited for. And then there's the shit coins. The true shit coins are the memes. So I do like Pulse Doge Win. I think Pulse Doge Win, the first real project on PulseChain. I've been a big fan of that one from day one because
Pulse Doge Win. Is that the BSC one?
Yes, that's the original. That's coming to PulseChain. And
now it's going to be BSC and PulseChain.
Yeah, and Ethereum now. They're doing it on Ethereum too. Okay. So we could burn our BSC version for the Ethereum version, which will get a copy on PulseChain automatically. So I like it. I like it because it's just a set amount of tokens, and it's pretty deflationary with the staking features and NFTs and all that. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm not as excited as I was.
Take you over to the other side yet?
What's that?
Gunther hasn't taken you over to the other side yet?
No, not after he did what he did with Hedron. I'll never do anything that he puts his money in.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the founder. I don't know who's behind that one, but I'll never support it. I think it was the marketing is terrible. The negativity behind it. There's just a project I don't have a vibe with that I don't see myself vibing at all with. Pulse Doge Win is fun. I love it. Pleb coin.
Great art.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Pleb, Hexy bastard. Dude, that dude's crazy. I love it. Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Hexy bastard. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally original, and it's going to be fun. And I don't know what the features are going to be, but let's do it. So, more token with Trevon James. Mm-hmm. I like his as well. I own that one. So I put the same amount of money in Poor Pleb as I put into more. And I do not. When people say, "Oh, Randy, you don't like." These meme coins. Look, I've never put money in meme coins ever in the history since 2014. I've ever put $1 into a meme coin. But man, Pulse Doge Win corrupted me. These guys corrupted me, and now I'm actually enjoying them. So I just have fun.
Corrupted Randy. Okay.
Yeah. So about 95% of my portfolio is still HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, but that extra 5% I have, Liquid Loans, Mintra. These other ones that we're all waiting for them to launch, plus the meme coins, and I have a few others that I own, and also the big one that I'm about to start talking about is Load, gold and silver on the blockchain, and when PulseChain launches, they said that they're going to bring Load over to PulseChain, so I made that happen. I'm looking forward to it. Gold and silver on the blockchain, and I would like to use gold and silver as a stable coin too, just because I don't want to put everything into LUSD. I want to have it a little bit diversified because we don't want another scenario like Duquan had with Luna.
Bitcoin next.
Sure enough. So I don't ever want to have to deal with that.
Ever. Bitcoin.
Yeah, Trevon James. Yeah, going back. That's history. I was there for that. I never owned it, never got into it, but I watched it fail. I watched it go down in flames.
I remember seeing the tweet of the order from some Texas judge, and at that point, it is the chart.
Yep.
Down forever after that. So I had a question. Axion. I don't know what Axion is. Randy, any idea?
Yeah, Axion was the first token that tried to copy what HEX was doing, and they're still around. I have about 500 million or so tokens with Axion that are staked for 15 years. I think the value is like $3,500, but my total value invested is probably closer to 15,000. So I'm down pretty heavily with Axion. A lot of people in the HEX community absolutely hate it because they were the first one to try to do another HEX. But I like the community. I thought they were very nice, and they're trying to come up with new systems to gamify Axion. They have the NFTs and other cool things, but obviously it didn't do as well as HEX. If I would have just put my money in HEX, I'd have another cool million or so probably.
Great clip right there. Lots of people say that. Lots of people say if I just put my money in HEX. I was going through the comments, and Jerry check. Icosa reminds me of the commercial 18. I took cocaine, I can work for hours. I can buy more cocaine, I work for hours.
It just keeps going around in a circle.
You just keep doing it with Icosa. Icosa, the thing that makes you keep doing it. Yes.
Yeah. I actually bought Icosa within the first 24 hours. I think I paid like $1.90 each. You know,
it was $1.90, $1.80, and then started creeping down 160, 150, 140, 130. What you know what it is today? I haven't checked.
No, I haven't checked.
Probably it's over $1, pretty sure. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's like $1.40, I imagine. Yeah, I'm definitely OG Pulse Doge. That's one of the first people who got memed. I think they memed Trevon, Richard first, Trevon second.
That was a great one. The Trevon meme is amazing.
Yeah, it was so fun.
One of my favorite. I like just beautiful art. It's the way that they did that one. Alpha returns to give me a liberty. Alpha refers to outperformance portfolio over another same amount of risk. Okay, that's another definition, I guess. There we go. Everyone, tweet the link. Put it on Telegrams. Smash all the buttons. We're about to get actually started. I haven't exercised Brandy's brain yet. We're just been warming up the last 30 minutes. How bullish are you on PulseChain?
Well, I've made it abundantly clear that I think we're going to do better than Tron's launch in the first 90 days. Tron was 100x in 97 days, something like that. And it was a ghost chain. There was nothing. Yes, Tron launched in October or September 2017, right in the midst of the bull market. So it flew high just because everything else is flying high too. But unlike Tron, we are not launching with an empty chain. We are launching with a full chain. And each one of those pairs that are on PulseChain are going to be liquid. And you're going to be able to sell those pairs for Pulse. And I think that's going to drive up the price of Pulse, as well as the people who are going to FOMO into Pulse, as well as the people that have PulseX who are going to sell their PulseX to get into Pulse. So those first 24 to 72 hours for PulseChain are going to just be absolutely crazy. It's going to be absolute mayhem. And we could see on the first day an easy 50x. But first 90 days, anywhere 100 to 150x is quite possible.
So
in my opinion.
You said the first 3 days, 90 days and stuff. Do you think we'll follow kind of would it be like buy the rumor, sell the news? Do you think there'll be a huge dump as usual afterwards? What kind of volatility would you expect to see if we launch 2023 January or something? What kind of volatility do you see throughout 2023?
Okay, I'm good. I was on Jake Sharp stream the other day, and the one I brought up was Bitcoin Cash. My best trading day.
Hopefully with a better ending. Hopefully with a better ending than Bitcoin Cash.
Yes. But my best trading day ever was the launch day of Bitcoin Cash. Okay. I got my free Bitcoin Cash because I held my Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin Cash at the low, I think like $200 or something. It went up to like 900. I sold it all. It went back down to about 300. I bought again. It went back up to like 800. I sold it all. It was that's back in my trading days. What a day. Dude, my adrenaline was pumping so hard that day. I was like, baby, we're going out. Let's go out and party tonight. That's before I had my son. So that was about 6 months before I had my son. So we went out, had a good time, and I'll never forget that day. It was very exciting. So I think PulseChain is going to be very similar for people who are trading. I don't recommend trading at all. I just going to stake mine. I'm going to put my in one-sided, the one-sided pairs for the liquidity, and also for the validators. I don't have a lot of PulseChain, and I made it very clear because I only invested like $2,700 or $2,300 into PulseChain. And people are like, Randy, why did you invest so little in the PulseChain? Dude, because I thought it was going to launch in like 2 to 3 weeks. I thought I was going to be able to do what I always did and bought the dump after it launched.
More. Mm-hmm.
That was going to be my play because I had all this money ready for the launch and the dump. Because I figured it was going to be like a traditional ICO, in my opinion, right? Well, that didn't happen. So I ended up putting all the extra money into PulseX when the PulseX was announced. I do think PulseX is going to do very well.
So just with Pulse, and you can talk about PulseX too, but why will it do well as far as like how do we get rid of the sell pressure? Like what is going to get rid of the sell pressure to make price go up and not, just be constantly dumping on and off?
Well, you're going to have your speculators, so we can't get rid of those folks, right? But the great news is PulseChain was so quiet when we did the sacrifice phase. It was the amount of wallets is so small compared to the PulseX sacrifice that I think that the amount of dumpers is going to be small, because most of the people that bought PulseChain are hexagons. Hexagons generally don't need the money. We already made our huge payoff. That for me, it was about 1,500 to 2,000 X, but there's people that did 10,000 X in HEX. They don't need any money. They're happy. They're just happy to get their PulseChain, get their PulseX, and stake the shit and not even think twice about it. But there's going to be the speculators that come in. They're going to sell. There's always going to be sell pressure. People who, especially if it's 2023, oh my God. So a year and a half, they're waiting to get their liquidity back. There's people are going to dump.
Can't wait to dump it. A lot of people.
Oh, they can't wait. I've seen people on Twitter now saying, "Oh, I'll sell my wallet." It's a good way to get scammed, by the way.
Wow. Yeah.
I saw that yesterday. Oh, I'll sell my wallet for my PulseX sacrifice. Do not ever buy someone's wallet.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You will get scammed.
There's a project that, it seems like because the thing is they have the key, you buy the wallet, whatever it's got in it, you don't know where it's going to go, how it's going to end up. You can't change the key, stuff like that.
Nope.
So, as far as, do you think a lot of people are going to be locking up? Do you think a lot of people will be using, assuming liquid loans is working well, it launches, everything goes well, how much impact do you think things like that, things like fiat, things like some of the community projects, derivatives of it or not, how do you think they affect the sell pressure? Do you think they're going to keep stuff in, PHEX even?
No. I think no one's going to sell. I think hexagons, like I said, hexagons have money. I would rather sell my derivatives any day of the week. I don't have to sell my HEX. I think with fiat, there's going to be a way to take loans against your HEX. Maybe even your HEX stakes. I don't know. They might have loans against your HEX stakes. That's cool too. I guess you kind of do that with Hedron already, as long as you stake it as a HSI. So, you've already got that option. I just don't see people. HEX is just one of those things that it's your gold, man. It's the stuff you don't sell. You don't want to get rid of it because it's so hard to recover the T shares.
Yeah.
At my peak, I'm already down from the peak about 50 T shares from like beginning of 2020. I'm down 50. So getting those back, holy crap.
So we got a lot of derivatives of HEX so far, Maxi, Hedron, the whole ecosystem and stuff like that, and some other ones as well. But for Pulse, I've just heard of one so far that seems like a derivative up token. But do you think there will be more derivatives of Pulse that kind of follow that price, or kind of have the same positive feedback loop that Hedron has on PEX?
Yep. Because I was going to do one. I was going to launch it. If I had a good team of developers right now, I have an amazing idea for a derivative to help with the HEX, keep the price up. But I am not willing to look. I've already been through a project where I spent about 60 grand trying to get something launched, and the developers kept fucking me. I'm just tired. I just don't want to do it right now. I would have to have a real good development team come to me and say, "Hey, Randy, we want to build that for you, and let's just do it." I'm not going out there and just spending money for the sake of doing something again. I'd rather do something and just throw in the liquidity and help it launch with the liquidity. But I think the more derivatives that come to help HEX, say that there's airdrops involved, those kind of things, the more of that comes, the better, because people don't ever have to sell their HEX. They just keep staking it. It's like the golden potato.
You're putting the sell pressure on the other tokens as well. And now if you can stake those other tokens, it kind of, Hedron, Icosa, all this stuff, if you can stake the other tokens, now you're earning more. So it's like, well, which one do I sell? Probably not the one probably not the blue chip, probably the derivative.
Yeah, exactly. Sell the derivatives every freaking time, man.
Yeah. But if I would have known, if you make more of the derivative, it's hard to sell it too. So it's
look, if I would have known what I know, if I would have known now if I would have known back then what I know now, I would have done some things a lot different. Like I said, Axion, I never would have bought Axion. I would have just bought HEX and staked HEX. A lot of the other coins that I had purchased, I would just stayed in HEX because between the airdrops and everything else that we get, it made no sense. I still believe once PulseChain launches, within 12 months of the PulseChain launch, my guess is that I'm going to accrue about 12 or I mean, $100,000 in airdrops. No doubt in my mind, because between HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX holders, people are going to be throwing stuff at us because they want our attention, and they're going to pay us for our attention.
Yep. I can see that. It's funny. We see like a new coin launch every week now, but just wait till PulseChain launches. PulseChain actually launches.
They're gonna be like, you know that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where he's on the boat and the FBI agents are getting out the boat. He's like,
yeah.
here, take some tickets.
I don't remember what his exact quote is, but it's something to do with stay broke or stay poor or something like that. Yeah, I remember that scene. That's a great actor. What's that guy's name? He used to be in a show.
DiCaprio.
Well, not him, but the one the main agent that takes him down.
Oh yeah. I don't remember his name now.
He used to be an early edition. This show that it's like you get the newspaper a day early, and like you can see the future, and he does all this stuff. Actually, cool show.
Oh, cool.
Look it up. Speaking of airdrops and stuff, Pulse Dogecoin, and how about Project Pulse Dogecoin greater than Pulse Bitcoin? I guess you're putting an arrow like connecting them to make them.
That's something to do with PLSD. They're coming up with their own derivative called Pulse Bitcoin. But like I said,
you stake PLSD to get Pulse Bitcoin. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it does. But I have no interest.
Yeah.
I thank you for the airdrop.
There was a great airdrop for that. Yeah. I mean, Gunther, he's a man on a mission. I'll say that. I don't know when.
I had multiple wallets, but I don't think, I still don't think Gunther is the founder of it.
No, he's not the founder. He's like the face of it, but not quite the founder.
Yeah. So whoever the founder was, you're a dick, but thanks for the airdrops. I had multiple wallets. I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. Everyone, they did well.
That was one of the better airdrops. I'll say that. Apparently Jack Levin is launching some coin called Zen. Didn't know that. Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I saw it. He followed me the other day. He's the ex-Googler.
Yeah.
And, he's doing something.
PulseX. If you sacrificed in many other projects, would you hold them for at least 6 months to a year, or sell them day 1 through 5, or buy back the dip, liquid loan, venture fiat? Yeah, Randy, you want to take that one?
Okay, so this is the thing. We already know liquid loans is not going to launch on day 1, and I don't think Mintro will either, fiat either. So play it by ear. You might. Okay. ICOs in 2017 are much different than these. Why? Because ICOs, we raised the money and the project launched within weeks. I was involved with over 40 projects. You do the ICO and then you launch and it's live and the price goes crazy and you get the huge run up and then they sell off. That was the normal ICO. And then they start creeping back up and until January 2018, where everything collapsed and nothing recovered for the next 2 years. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen here. Who knows? Liquid loans, they've got a lot of liquidity. They could buy everything everyone's selling for a while. They raised a lot of money in their sacrifice. I don't remember how much money Mintra and Fiat raised, but liquid loans raised a lot. So if they wanted to have a really good market maker, they could keep their price floating for a while.
It's a good point. Yeah, and I think didn't they say they're going to launch a little while after PulseChain,
like 3 months or something like that?
Yeah, not so people don't get liquidated with crazy volatility that's expected to come and stuff like that.
Because people are dumb, man. They're like, oh, PulseChain's worth 0.01. It's 1 cent. We'll just use that as an example. Oh my God, I have this huge.
It's worth 1 cent. We're all rich if PulseChain goes 1 cent.
Very, very much. Oh my God, I'm going to take a huge loan out on this. And then it's liquidated because the next day it goes down to half a penny. so yes, they're going to delay launch.
Talk about that too. When should people take loans out on tokens like that? If it's not at the high, is it better to take it at the low? Like, what are the pros and cons of that? Yeah,
take it at the low because so this is how I understand liquid loans. If you take out 100%, which is very dumb, you would never do that. You take out only a small fraction of the percentage of the value of the loan, so that you have, if you take out only 10% of your value, then you have a 90% window if the price drops 90% before you get liquidated. But you take the loan out, you have the USD value in LUSD. As the price increases, then your risk of getting liquidated goes down, down, down. So now you still have your capital and you can pay it off as the price goes up. which makes sense. But if the price starts going down, if you're only using 10%, you could, keep adding more to it to make sure you don't get liquidated. But the dummies out there, they're going to play that 50-50 game. They're going to take out 50% of the money. And we all know that, HEX dropped like 24% yesterday in one day. So if you were at 75%, you got liquidated. If I'm talking in the future, when that's available on fiat or whatever, loans against HEX do come out. But it's a dangerous game that I don't recommend people doing unless you're so 2 years from now, say PulseChain is worth 1 penny and my 2,300 is now worth, say 1.3 million. And I go take a loan out against maybe 100,000 of it. I take out 10,000. I'm pretty safe, because I still have my other PulseChain that I can keep putting in to protect the price, protect my loan.
Are you talking about at like 100% collateral or 200%?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because it's more the more higher you go, the more dangerous your leverage is, because that's what it is. You're using leverage or taking loans out against something to pay off your bills, and just take the least amount you possibly can to be able to handle what you have to do. I just know people are greedy. They're going to take out way too much, and they're going to get liquidated. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not a liquid loans professional. I don't know how it all works. I just know that it's just another form of leverage, just like on Luna and Celsius and things like that, except this one's based on liquidity, which is 100% decentralized version where you hold the keys, and you're safer.
Yes.
Liquidity is still around, guys.
Liquidity still, that's true. Yeah, there is. It's not super new code. I heard you talk about your strategy for the bear market too. You mentioned something about you're in stable coins until October. Is that right?
Yeah, but it's not because of the bear market. It has nothing to do with the bear market.
Okay. Why are your stable coins till October?
Okay, so Abra says a 500% collateral would sustain up to a 78% dip. All right. So
yeah, I think you had it backwards, because I know you hear.
Yeah, I had it backwards.
Okay, take 1,000% collateral, so it's like like a 99% chance of never getting liquidated.
Yeah, exactly.
We get the
no
point.
thanks. Yeah, you guys know what I meant. So I am in stables because of a different reason than most people are in stables. The bear market is here, but there's some circumstances or cycles that we need to talk about. And if you haven't been watching me, I've been very vocal about it. September 26th, the last day of Rosh Hashanah, is the end of the 7-year Shemitah cycle. This is a Hebrew cycle, and we're going into the Jubilee year. So I might have just said a bunch of gibberish to you, but Jubilee year is the end of the debts. So all debts are forgiven. But traditionally, in the 7-year cycle of Shemitah, something bad happens. So I had a really good tweet that I put out, I think it was about a week ago, where I went back the last 8 Shemitahs and told you all the events that happened over the last 8 Shemitahs. 9/11 happened on it. We also had Black Tuesday. We had the real estate collapse of 2008, when the whole stock market went down a whole bunch. 7 years ago in 2015, we had the stock market collapse 15% in one day. Going back 7 years, something bad happens every time. It's not always financial. It could be something else that happens. But during that time, there's always some bad shit going on, going back to thousands of years. So I'm really being really careful, very cautious. I don't care if the price of things skyrocket over the next 2 months. I don't give a shit. I'm watching cycles. And just because you don't believe in a religious holiday does not mean you shouldn't watch it. Because the holiday that I'm speaking of is followed by the most powerful financial class in the world. And that's the Jewish people. They follow
one of them. The Jewish people are probably the one that
those are the ones you're going to follow when it comes to money. When it comes to money, I'm following them. And then Jubilee happens. And Jubilee is after Shemitah ends. and the next year, and that's when after all the debts have been forgiven, it's kind of like a restart of the financial engine. And that's when the bull markets usually start to kick in. So I don't believe the crypto bull market will happen until we get about a year before the halving for Bitcoin. So we have about 1 year and 8 months until the next halving, or 1 year and 10 months, something like that. Yeah. So I believe that's when when we get to that 1 year point, that's when you'll definitely see the new bull market starting to sprout and get ready to start blooming. Well, the idea though is to prepare yourself between the 2 year mark to the 1 year mark. That's when you accumulate. Every month you DCA and you get yourself ready for that next bull run. That's what I did in 2018, 2019, and it worked brilliantly for us. I was buying coins that nobody else was buying, like Epic Cash. I was on the team, and it went down to a penny. Only 21 million coins, and it was a privacy coin. And I was buying at a penny, and right after HEX launched, it went up to 52 cents. And I sold all my Epic Cash, and I bought HEX. It paid off big time, and it paid off big time for my mother as well. She was playing that game too. And I told her, Mom, let's sell our Epic Cash and go into HEX. And she did. And wow, I threw the ball. Home run.
Home run for mom. Can't get better than
that. So we did a home run on Epic Cash, and then we used that home run to make another home run on HEX. So
I heard you talk about using indicators too, trading indicators. That's something that I think a lot of people don't really know. You hear the term, you know what it means and stuff, but I don't think many people actually know how to use them, or like how you'd even get set up to use them. So like, can you just talk about like what are trading indicators? When would you use them? And like what services are out there that people can just like, can you just like sign up and then start, get notifications on certain events, or how does it all work?
Sure. So the one that I was on the team for Aurox, AUROX, getaurox.com, GETAUROX. I was on the team for 2 years. These guys are my friends. They are probably going to go public in the next year. I did lose them as a client about 2 months ago, but they're like the TradingView competitor, but the true crypto, they're 100% crypto. TradingView is everything, right? But Aurox is 100% crypto. And it has some really cool features. And one of them is the Aurox indicator. And the Aurox indicator is, it tells you when to buy or sell. And if you only use this indicator on the monthly for Bitcoin, you'll probably trade 3 or 4 times a year. And it is about 70% successful on every trade. And they're doing that talking about on the weekly, right? But I say if you only use it on the monthly, it's 100% successful, going back to the launch of the Aurox indicator 4 years ago. So, if you have the discipline to just make a couple trades a year, you'll do wonderful. So that's why I use the Aurox indicator. I used to make quick little videos about HEX. When I start doing my live streams over the next couple weeks, I'm going to still be using the Aurox indicator. I'll go through a couple coins every live stream. If people want me to show them other coins, I will, because I have it all set up. It's really easy for me to go in there and look at different things. I keep it really simple. I was a trader for years, but I never did TA. All I used was the Aurox indicator. And the only other thing I did was the buy the rumor, sell the news. That's how I traded mostly. Like the thing with Hedron recently with Icosa, dude, I would have traded that like a bandit. That was a perfect setup for a buy the rumor, sell the news event. And I would have made a year's worth of salary just trading that. Wow. That's what I used to do.
Is it as easy as just signing up for a service and then looking at a chart, or like do they like give you email notification? Okay, this is look like a good trade. Like how does it work?
So on Get Aurox, you just sign up, take the tutorial classes in the bottom right hand side. It teaches you how to use them, and you go into the indicators. It looks like a little F symbol on the top bar. This is just like TradingView. It looks just like TradingView, except the indicators are different. So under indicators, you go to the Aurox proprietary indicators. You click on that, and then on the drop down, you just get Aurox indicator. That's it. That's the only indicator you need if you're patient. So if you're a person that trades daily, Aurox indicator is not going to be sufficient. You're going to need a bunch of other stuff. You're going to need trading, the DI, the demand index, you're going to need the MACD, you're going to need all those things. But if you're a person who has more patience and you're not using leverage, then just use the RX indicator on a monthly and you'll be pretty safe. So you wait for it to turn red, you sell. Wait for it to turn green, you buy. Wait for it to turn red again, you sell. You're going to make a lot of money. It's pretty simple.
I prefer to stake. And never trade, but I'm always curious about how the indicators and stuff, because I used when I first got into crypto, I was trading a lot and I was using TradingView and all these things. But it's been years.
It's exhausting.
So I was curious.
It's exhausting, bro.
Curious how it is in 2022. Okay.
Yeah, it's so exhausting. I cannot do TA the way everyone else did. I never enjoyed it. I would look at those lines and I'm like screw this. I want to go drink coffee at Starbucks. I just didn't feel like looking at lines all day. Then Yorgi and the other guys at the team, they're like, hey Randy, check out our new Oryx indicator. I was like, oh, what is this? This is for lazy guys. I like it. And it's worked great. Some people abuse it though. They try to use it on the 5-minute and the 15-minute chart. It doesn't work that way. It's not good. You'll get wrecked if you try to play with it on the 15, 30 hour. Yeah, it needs to be on long time frames.
Don't hit 5 minutes. Do not hit 5 minutes. Yeah. You just torture yourself for no reason. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you'll end up spending tons of fees.
Vitalik dumps ETH. Why would Richard never sell? How do we know Richard's never going to sell?
We don't know Richard's never going to sell, but we have signs. And Richard says that he is here for the glory. Richard's already wealthy. He'll sell his ETH. He'll sell XRP or whatever else people sacrificed with. But I don't think he's ever going to sell his HEX, his PulseChain, his PulseX, because he's here for his name to be etched in stone for all to see for the millennium. He wants to be out there. Even though he hates NFTs, he will have NFTs of his name someday. It's just gonna happen. They'll be there forever, for thousands of years. It's just, if things are still around, Richard will be known as long as this ecosystem goes as good as we think it's going to go. Richard truly believes in decentralization. I think that Vitalik has showed us that he will capitulate and he will bow to the powers that be. And it kind of scares me to support someone like Vitalik. I don't know. Have you seen him come out saying anything against what USDC did concerning Tornado Cash? Have you seen him say anything?
I haven't.
He's quiet, right? He's mum. Mum is the word with Vitalik. So if Vitalik is mum, but Richard's out here screaming from the rooftops that, hey, that was fucked up. They shouldn't be doing that. We need to support decentralization. We should allow private transactions. Vitalik's not doing anything about it. Richard is.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is you want a founder who's already rich. So
yes,
just rug pull. Why would you rug pull? You're already rich. What are you going to do? Buy a bigger island? You already have enough money. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me in Panama, anything over say 15 grand a month, I can't. What the hell am I going to do with 15 grand a month here in Panama? I can't. There's no way I could spend it unless I was really frivolous, going to the casino, just throwing things on, 10 grand on black. That's the only way that I could be possibly
24
spending
hours
50
at a
grand.
casino.
Yeah, yeah. That's a quick way to lose your money, is just going to casino every day. So, I mean, but living a normal life, just going out to nice restaurants, those kind of things, there's no way I could spend 15 grand a month here.
No. And the other argument is, he'll just be dumping. First of all, he'll be dumping slowly. It's like, we would see it if he did. We have all the addresses. We see all the things. Nobody.
He's under a microscope. He's constantly under a microscope. Everyone's watching him.
People are keeping I don't think he would anyways, but we're keeping him on its by watching these addresses and stuff like that. And no, he'll dump it all at once. No, there's not enough liquidity. He's gonna dump like $1 trillion worth of HEX for like $15 million, and he's a billionaire.
Why ruin his legacy, for one, and two? Sense. Richard, he can't hide anywhere. What's he gonna do? Go get his face changed? His bones and his cheeks changed and everything to hide? Listen, you can't. People will find him.
He's taking enough pictures. He's looking like trees sometimes. He's got green boots on. We have every angle of Richard possible. I don't think
we found.
Yeah, I don't think the cheeks implants are gonna solve much. Question: Moonshot, PLSX, PLS, HEX in the next 5 years. Yeah, we got Randy.
Yeah, like I said on Jake's stream the other day, I think that PulseX is the hare and Pulse is the tortoise. So in the beginning, the first couple of days, I'm not talking about Pulse in the first couple of days. That's going to be insane. But once everything settles down, I think that PulseX will outperform PulseChain for the first couple of years. But after the first couple of years, PLS is going to be like ETH. It's a layer one. It's just going to crush. And
why
I don't know
PLS
PulseX
going to outperform? What's going to make it outperform?
It's deflationary. It's the deflationary of PulseX is way higher than PulseChain. So those numbers, this is going to be cutting into the PulseChain, especially if we start getting a lot of trading volume. It's just going to be eaten into the total stack of PulseX. And I really look forward to that. PulseChain is deflationary as well, but it's just a much slower rate.
It's been a fun bear market, honestly. I think maybe back in May, I think that was a low for, and it wasn't even a low. I say it's a low, but it's like, even then, I'm not over leveraged. Things are good, life in general. Of course, when after mid-May, that was a little disappointing, but I think that was a low for me. I think the bear market's been off. I think Hedron, Icosa, all the new perpetuals coming from Dipcatcher, a lot of the good projects coming out and making progress and just, growing the channel, getting to meet people. I don't know, this has been a great bear market.
My last bear market really was horrible. I hated my last bear market.
Oh, same. Yeah, the 2017, 2018 bear market. That was, I think it was definitely, for me, it was denial for a long time. And then I was like, all right, I guess it's here. But I just kept living my life, kept working, kept learning. Not as much as this bear market. I think this bear market, I feel like I've consumed so much more content that's been useful and productive, and I've put it to work than the previous one. But yeah, I think the previous one, because it was my first bear market, the previous one, I was just shocked. I was just like, denial, like, oh no, everything's fine. It's good. It's going to blow past 20K. It's going to go down a little bit. It's going to go back up. I was just in denial, even after, hearing Richard talk about it. Oh, Richard, he says a lot of things. Blah, blah, blah.
Listen, when you're a millionaire, I was a millionaire at the end of or beginning of 2018. And then I dropped all the way down to 5 figures. Dude, that was so painful because I felt like I made it and then I got rugged and I hated that feeling. And I said, I'm never going to let this freaking happen to me again. And this time, HEX saved us. I really think that HEX saved us. Thank you, Richard, for not letting us make those mistakes that we made. Screw you, VeChain. VeChain.
You got to axe the ground with VeChain from the last bear market.
Yeah, I bought it in January, and it just kept going down, 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 down. And I sold it all by like March, and I was crushed.
Yeah, that's VeChain. I don't think I have any that. No, it's kind of a blur now. Like I said, I think I've had so much fun the last few years. It's like I'm the type of person too. Any situation, I try to take positive things out of it. Even bear market, even winning, losing, whatever it is, like I'll still be like, oh, but I learned something from it, or I did something. And I have kind of a forcing factor for that for myself, just to make sure I get every ounce of positive energy out of whatever situation. So I think that helps, get through these tough times
and making relationships, doing stuff like this. And we didn't have this in 2018, the live streams, right? We didn't have people to listen to make us, I don't want to say feel better, but it keeps you from making stupid decisions when you hear someone like myself and like you that's been through the ringer, and we say, look, don't trade on leverage. Be careful. Keep your shit staked.
Yeah. Or just don't trade at all. Yeah, it's staked. I think that's the biggest thing. I've been saying it for months is, if you're staked, why do you care what the price is? Why do you care? Why do you care what the price is? If you're not staked, then maybe you care because you want to sell, you want to trade, you want to get in and out. But if you're staked, why do you care? Why does it matter what the price is right now?
HEX dropped 24 cents on Saturday, right? Or 24%. My heart didn't even
think I looked at the price. I don't think I looked at economics on it. I was like, oh yeah, HEX is down or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I still have my FTX on my phone, so I'm always checking my FTX. I don't really check my staker app that much because it doesn't load very fast. But I check my FTX and I'm like, we're down 24%. Who cares?
Yeah. Like
We're going to the beach.
When I see that, I'm like, do I have any dry powder for this one? Do I have any set aside for it? I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, why is it down? I'm thinking, do I have any more to put into it right now? It's pretty good.
And we were not thinking like that in 2018. No way. Not at all.
No, 2018. Well, 2018, it was more like, well, it'll probably go back up on it.
Oh,
and then down. It's like, why didn't I sell anything?
I got a story for this.
2018.
Let me tell you the story of what happened with us. So we went to Europe in November of 2018. And we were in Krakow because we had just gone to Steam Fest for Steemit.com. So we're at Steam Fest, and I was really big in Steemit. So we had another month left in Europe. We were going to leave Krakow. We were going to go to Vienna, Austria for 2 weeks. Then we were going to do 2 weeks in Prague, Czech Republic. So I'm sitting there, and the Steam Fest is over with, and we're in the Hilton, or maybe it was the Sheraton right on the river in Krakow. And I'm looking out the window, and I look down at my phone, and I hadn't looked at my phone all day, and I see that my Bitcoin's down. If it was at 6,000 or so, it was down already to 4,000. By the end of the night, it was down to 3,000. And I'm like, oh my God, all I brought with us was one Bitcoin. And I had a Bitcoin wallet in my phone, a hot wallet that I brought with me to pay for our trip. Because I already knew the places that I could sell my Bitcoin to pay for our bills on our trip. Because there was the Bitcoin embassy in downtown Vienna, Austria, that we were going to go sell our Bitcoin. And I said to my wife, I said to Anna, I was like, hey, I said, I didn't bring enough Bitcoin. And I left all my keys home. All I had was the hot wallet. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, we're here. We still have 4.5 weeks left in Europe. And we're going to the most expensive city, one of the most expensive cities in Europe right now, Vienna. And all we got is like $3,000 left to our name. So Randy had to call mom. My mom had to send me money to PayPal to be able to get us through our trip in 2018. And that was so painful. I was not expecting that. A 50% dip in a day. Yeah, exactly, Jerry. I'm sitting there in the Sheraton thinking, oh, crap.
Like, what kind of kitchen they got in Sheraton? Probably nice kitchen, right?
Nice. It was a bad feeling. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Tornado Cash before, too. We're talking about Vitalik. How do you even sanction a smart contract? Like, do you think they can actually enforce it? You think it's going to get overturned? What do you think on that?
Well, it's not that they're controlling the smart contract; they're controlling the USDC smart contract. So anybody who is they could scan anybody's wallet that has used Torn, and if you have ever used Torn, so they got Torn. You're a U.S. citizen, and you have USDC in your wallet. They're going to turn off your USDC, and you're never going to be able to use it. That's fucked up. So even though I'm a U.S. citizen, I live in Panama, and say that my wallet is KYC to my name, they could shut off my wallet, and that just seems criminal to me. Especially some guys might have $100,000, $200,000 in their wallets. Oh shit! Now you can't use it. It's absolutely criminal.
You interacted with a smart contract once. Sorry. What the hell?
Yeah, there's people fighting it. There's a lot of people fighting it right now. But where is Vitalik? Where is the man?
Well, where is every billionaire? Like, there's a lot of crypto millionaires, some billionaires and stuff. It's like, why? Like, every time it's what's strange to me, and I'm speaking as a non-billionaire. Like, crypto has made so many people extremely wealthy. You would think every time some crazy stuff like this happens, there would just be a ton of lawsuits and just coming from every direction, just like water it all out and just make it just undo it. But you never see it. Like, I don't get it.
Like Ross Ulbricht. Ross Ulbricht is a perfect example. Why is the guy still in prison? They say, oh, he's sanctioned he ordered someone's killing. No one fucking died. There's people that are in prison for murder who I got lighter sentences than Russ Ulbricht for somebody that had a website. There's nobody picketing on the street saying free Ross. And that really bothers me as an anarcho-capitalist, that this guy, all he did was he was just trying to make money. And
is that something we can do, as HEX and PulseChain makes a lot of the community wealthy? Do you think there'll be a lot more of that hey, we're going to fund these anti-BS stuff when this stuff comes up? You think that we'll be able to fight it more because of the wealth creation in our community?
Well, I think that Roger Ver is a perfect example. Roger Ver is somebody who's been fighting for us. You know, people might not like Roger, but Roger puts his money where his mouth is. He will go toe to toe with the government over stuff that he does not believe in. And he's done a great job of that. While others are just happy to make money off the government or what the government sanctions. So I don't think FTX are our friends. I don't think that Binance are our friends. I think they're in bed with the government and in bed to subjugate us, and they're willing to make the money off of it. And that really makes me nervous about using those types of platforms.
Yeah. Jerry had a question from a while back. What are your thoughts on Pulse and Space Con?
Yeah. Once again, as an anarcho-capitalist, I believe that you got to take responsibility for your actions. So you start a business, your business fails, you are 100% responsibility for that failure. If you start a business and that business is successful, you are 100% responsible for the positives that come out of it, whether it's money or just the accolades that come with it. So own it either way. And that's my opinion on PulseCon.
Oh, I think I lost you for a sec. I think it's the last 10 seconds or so.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying own it. So if you win, you take your wins. If you lose, you take the losses. That's just how business should run in an anarcho-capitalist society. There is no save you. I'm not,
Well, yeah. So Vegas in general, Vegas is still happening, right? I think I hear a lot of people events are still happening.
Still happening.
I don't. So because I have a bunch of free RH swag that I want to give away that I plan on taking to Vegas with me and giving away. And I requested a booth or to share a booth or something at PulseCon, but I don't really know. Am I going to get the booth still going to happen? Is there going to be a Hedron booth? Is there still going to be is there going to be a hotel venue? Whether you're staying at the hotel or not, I'm curious to see that in the next couple of weeks of what's going on. But,
well, there are stuff happening. There's lots of parties and things, but I don't know about an actual event. I don't know.
Yeah. I just hope there's, regardless of, the talks and things like that, it'd be nice to have booths. It'd be nice to have like a community area. I plan on streaming there live as well at some point on day 2 and day 3. So it'd be nice to have like somewhere I can just sit down and talk to people and not be like the weirdo in the hotel that just like taking, that kind of thing.
With your own like lemonade stand, just selling, got the t-shirts.
Yeah, there you go. They're going to say, hey, sir, you can't be here. But this used to be the venue of the conference. Is it not? Is PulseCon not have?
Get out of here. You guys didn't pay.
Yeah. This guy wants you out of here. This is Panama rolls today. We got a couple questions. We'll wrap up here in a sec, but I just want to get a couple questions. Most node operators, talking about Tornado Cash. One ETH left Tornado. Oh, sorry, Alan. That sucks.
I'd be so pissed.
I know. That's
like $1,700 or $1,600. Yeah. Good on Gary. Gary's always doing the right thing.
60% of node up not present tornado attractions. Wow, they're at the node layer now. You said USDC, Randy. Now they're at the node layer. Jeez.
Because people are scared of the government, and I don't think we should have to live like that. The government should be scared of us. Look what happened in Sri Lanka. Look what Sri Lanka did. The whole country revolted, and they turned the palace upside down.
Are they shaking it for money? Is it gonna?
No, they went swimming in the pool and kicked out the president.
All the gold coins in Sri Lanka have now been seized by the people. Not the worst ending of the story, honestly. Not the worst. No. Roger, awesome guy. Yeah, Roger Berger, he gets a lot of crap. I don't know if people don't like him. I don't have any problem with Roger Berger.
Because he's arrogant. He's really got an arrogance to him.
I like smart people. So if he's arrogant, I like Gunther. Gunther says a lot of crazy stuff. I think he's a smart guy, so I enjoy hearing a lot of other words come out of his mouth other than outrageous things. But he's a smart guy. So I'm not comparing Gunther with Roger Ver, by the way. I'm just saying, like in general, like people not liking people because they say crazy stuff sometimes. It's like
people don't like me. There's a lot of people in HEX that don't like me.
Really? Do you say crazy stuff?
Yeah, all the time.
You did say the word anarchy a couple times this stream, man.
Be careful. Google might be watching.
It's what is that movie? What is that movie when they go? It's like you can there's no law for 1 day per year. What is the name of that movie?
I don't remember.
I think it's what people think of anarchy. Chat, tell me the name of that movie.
There's left anarchy, right? That's what everyone thinks of. We're in the black hood, just breaking everything. No, all anarchy means is no ruler. So the term anarchy has just been co-opted by a bunch. The Bridge. The Purge. Yes, I remember that movie. Yeah, that's like the left mindset of anarchy, where you just destroy shit, murder people. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's I think because I talked to do you know Yash Deep?
Yeah, of course.
Did you? Yeah. Okay. I thought you might, because I had a similar conversation with him streamed a couple months ago, and we talked about anarchy and things. And that's when I first really got a view of it. But he explained the exact same way. It's like being able to have a relationship between two people with no intervention. Like, we have an anarchist relationship right now, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jerry wants to share this. So there is going to be so if you live in Washington State, there's a Washington State meetup coming up, beach meetup, volleyball, barbecue. I think may throw a shrimp on the bobby, and stuff like that. At the end of the month, if you're Washington State meetup, hit up Jerry or me on Twitter, or Ballybrand as well. He'll be there. And then there's a Telegram link to go into the chat and tell us kind of like pre-vetting to make sure you live in the state, you're able to come and all this stuff. But anyways, if you're interested in hanging out, playing some sports and stuff, barbecue at the end of the month, Jerry's telling me to share the Telegram. I don't have the Telegram link, Jerry. It's like watching. Damn it, Jerry. Give me the tweet and I can share it. You can't just, I don't have these things right on me.
I'll find it.
Anyways, yeah. Jerry, get that to me and I'll share it. I had another question here. Have we bottomed? Have we bottomed?
Hell to the no.
So
no.
So zoom out from HEX, crypto, and Bitcoin. What do you think on those three?
Oh, yeah, we have not bottomed for Bitcoin. There's no way, and Ethereum as well, because they go in tandem. But I want to separate HEX. But the problem is, whenever there's a big, huge sell-off, HEX goes down the waterfall too. It just tends to ride the wave, but it bounces the hardest. The bounce for HEX is freaking amazing, because people have so many buy orders waiting. And
Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, the bounces are way better for HEX. So I just don't think, if we do go down to a penny, I don't think it's going to stay down there long. There has to be a lot of sell pressure for HEX to hit a penny. But it could happen. And my guess, if it's going to happen, it's going to be the end of September into October, when the end of Shemitah happens. If you missed me talking about Shemitah, rewind.
Yeah, there was Shemitah talk. Yes. Talking about, the question, did you answer before, Randy, about the pulse lights? Where'd you get them from?
Yeah.
Well, where's the place you got them from?
I said there's a guy in Telegram. He's in the PulseChain Telegram. He's from the UK, but he lives in France, and he sells them. That's where I bought them.
Okay.
But I can't remember who he was. I bought him like a year ago.
Yeah. So guy on Telegram from France.
Yeah. UK, but lives in France.
Okay. Even more. That is more specific. That's true. So yeah. So which Telegram channel? Like, would they go on?
I found him in the PulseChain.
In the PulseChain. Okay. Gotcha.
In the PulseChain Telegram.
Jerry, did you send it to me yet?
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah,
it's Crypto Hut. That's his name. That's it. Stone's Interior with Crypto Hut. That's the guy that's his actual Telegram. Stone's Interior with Crypto Hut.
With Crypto Hut. I'm posting in the chat if anyone's interested. Shit.
Can you blame me for not remembering?
Yeah, that's there you go. Send it to Twitter. Okay, y'all hang on for a sec. I'm gonna share the link, because Jerry, are you not a mod? I should mod you. Didn't even think about it. Okay. All right. I have the link for if you're in Washington State, West Coast, and you want to come hang and go to there, and we will see if you could.
David's asking about where's the liquidity coming from PulseChain. I recommend finding one of the videos that Richard actually talks about this exact subject, and he goes really in depth with it, how it's working. So there's going to be liquidity with Pulse, with the air. So you're going to get airdropped all these tokens that you own in your Ethereum wallets, and then you're going to have PulseChain tokens on the other side in the liquidity, and whatever the launch price is, that's going to give the value of the new tokens. So it doesn't mean they're going to be the exact same price, right? People are like, oh my God, am I going to have, if I have $10,000 worth of say Uniswap token, does that mean I'm going to have $10,000 on PulseChain? No, it does not. It's all based on how well the PulseChain token does on launch. And if people are just selling their PulseChain, yeah, it means the coins that are on the other side of the trade are also going to dip, because there's the Hart's law, right? That whatever the coin is connected to is going to either pull the price up or pull it down. So that's why I can't wait for PulseChain to launch, because I do believe that PulseChain is going to do very well. And the tokens in PulseChain that are connected to the Pulse pairs are going to outperform other markets. So, without even having to trade, you could just hold a token that's connected to PulseChain. And if PulseChain does 100x, guess what your token's going to do? It's probably going to do 50, 60, 70x just because it's being pulled up by PulseChain. I hope that answered your question. If not, go watch Richard's video on liquidity on PulseChain and launches.
Good question, David. My favorite crypto, going prairie dog hunting in Jackson Hole this weekend. Any hexings nearby?
Click, click, blow.
I need a prairie dog. I need that. I like exotic meats too.
20 gauge or 12 gauge.
For prairie dog? I don't. Interesting. Good. I don't know. Probably 20. I'm going to go with 20. 12 gauge seems a little bit
overkill.
Yeah, I don't know how big the prairie dogs are, because I've never hunted one before, but I imagine they're more like squirrel size instead of like.
Oh, they're pretty big. They're pretty, compared to a squirrel. They're probably about double the size, right?
Double sized squirrel, but they're smaller than like a fox. So, or like another small ground animal. Okay, yeah, I don't know.
See, where I'm from, upstate New York, we have the woodchucks. How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, man. I taught my kid that. He's already trying to do it.
That's a good tongue tie right there.
Yeah, man. I used to love I had in my house in New York when I bought, I had a huge woodchuck that lived underneath my back patio. His name was Mr. Woodchuck. And I became friends with him. I gave him carrots and stuff. He was so fat, man. I was like, dude, you look just like me. Like
woodchucks, man. I don't think I've ever seen a woodchuck in real. I've seen groundhogs. I've never seen a woodchuck though.
I think they're the same thing, right?
Oh, are they? Okay, well maybe I've seen a woodchuck.
I'm not sure. I'm an East Coaster, so I don't know if they're actually the same thing or not. Somebody's going to correct us.
Leave the dogs alone. Leave the dogs. They're not real. They're not dogs. They're different, but I get the point.
22 with a suppressor.
Oh my God!
You guys are getting really interested.
You better be a good shot. You better be a real good shot on that one.
Better be a headshot.
Be like, yeah, it's got to be a very good shot on that one. That is you're going the opposite direction of what we're talking about. If you think 100x full challenge with Tron, like Tron within 90, what is X prediction? 90 days for PulseX prediction. I think it's a question.
Let's go with a third. So let's say 30x with PulseX, just because I think that PulseX is going to be slower out the gate. Just because there's going to be a lot of sell pressure in the beginning for people that have bought a whole bunch of PulseX hoping to get PulseChain in the first week or so. That's what I think. It's going to slow it down a little bit.
We solved the mystery as well. Thank you, Abra, for that. Okay. Now we got all the gun talk, guys. I love talk guns too, but we got to wrap it up. One more question I wanted to ask too. So people who want to retire on RH products and crypto and stuff, what would be an ideal investment plan long term? 5, 10, 15, 20 years. If you have in crypto, would you say 401k? Would you say self-directed IRA? Would you say just stake 5? Like how do you think about long-term Richard Hart product investing?
Well, I had one friend that he's super retired now. He's actually German and moved to the US, and I think he worked for an American company, one of these tech companies, and he had an IRA. And he changed it into a self-directed IRA. He took a self-directed IRA and he put it into Dash, which used to be Darkcoin. And he had a whole bunch of masternodes with Dash.
Dash masternodes, that was all the rage in 2016, I think.
Yeah, but he bought his in 2015, 2016, right? So he was loaded up, and he didn't just have one masternode. He had like 15 of them. And then Dash went all the way up to 1,200. He sold all of his master nodes right near the top and retired, and he's got a couple other companies now. My wife's he's still a client of ours for our social media business, a good friend of mine. And he used his self-directed IRA in order to do that. I'm not saying I am not a financial advisor, but this is what he did, and it made him super freaking wealthy. All right. Mm-hmm. So using your self-directed IRA and turning it into HEX stakes is akin to having a derivative of your self-directed IRA or your IRA. And just think about it. You take it, you put it into HEX, and then on top of that, you're getting your Hedron and all these other things that you're going to get for free. So you might want to look at it. It worked for him, but you better know what you're doing, and you better not be a trader. You better be a staker and be very conservative with your trades.
Yep. There are some tax advantages with the IRA. Not a tax advisor, but I've heard there are tax advantages with the IRA with even trading in and out. But you got to be very specific. Have your own wallet. No other foreign transaction. Blah blah blah. Have you used Rocket Dollar? Have you used MCA? Have you used any of those products that are? No. I know a lot of Hexicans use Rocket Dollar, for example, and MCA. So I just thought throw those two out there.
No, I'm actually I don't have any U.S. investments. When I left nursing, my hospital they just cut me a check for my IRA, and that was last time I had anything like that was 2007. I had to pay taxes on it and do all that kind of stuff because they just cut me a check when I left the hospital, and I haven't had a U.S. investment since. Yeah, I tell everybody my wife's rich, I'm poor, because all of my wallets are KYC to Anna's name. That's it, done.
Not a bad position to be in.
My wife is not a U.S. citizen. She doesn't have a green card. So, sorry, IRS.
We'll end on this. What else can Richard do to send HEX over the moon and Pulse? Like what else can he do?
Oh man, he's a marketing genius. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. I followed Richard and fell in love with what he's doing because he's a marketer like me, but he's a marketer on steroids. The guy knows how to get shit done. When I heard that he got in trouble for spamming, I was like, that's the guy I want to get behind because he's willing to do what it takes to make something successful. Yeah, he's got street cred. And as a marketer, I like a guy who's willing to go a little bit gray, not black, but gray in order to get shit done. And Richard's that guy. He does what he has to do to make his name out there, get his name out there. And the fact that he's dressing up like a clown and stuff right now, he's doing that for our sakes too. It's not just for him. Imagine a guy jumping up on a pole and doing a splits on a stripper pole. I would never do that, man. I have too much pride. Richard doesn't have any pride. He just wants us to be successful. He wants HEX to be out there.
He does. He's suppressing it. Yeah. I mean, he's making memes great again.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I just think he's doing such a great job. He cracks me up, man. Some of the stuff that he says. Yeah, thanks, Vets and Crypto. Some of the things he says just speaking of vets, it reminds me of sitting in the shack on the flight line when you got a bunch of 18-year-olds sitting around and just telling stupid jokes. Richard reminds me of the guy in the shack that's the funniest fucker in the room who just make us we're all crying our eyes out, and then a plane's about to hit a barrier because we're not directing it properly or something. It's just Richard's that guy that keeps us unfocused, but focused on just his stuff. We forget about everything else, and we're just hyper-focused on his stuff because he's so good at keeping our attention.
I'm cool with that. I think PulseChain that is going to keep the shiny objects within the system with all the copies, with all the projects launching on it. I don't want my consciousness to be in other coins. RHMax, that keeps me straight, keeps me honest, keeps me focused on my mission of personal and financial.
Yeah, I'm not an RHMaximalist. I still own other coins,
But I mean, to each their own. For me, even having that name, it never lets me stray from the mission. The mission is that you got to bet on some horse. Richard Hart, coolest horse I ever seen in crypto. Cool guy. If you're going to follow a founder, he's a pretty good one to follow. And beyond crypto too. I mean, of course, financial freedom, all this stuff, but also his ideals. Scivive, if you ever read his book, Fix the World. The way he thinks about things it makes you mentally wealthy and it can make you monetarily wealthy. And that's something I think is worth celebrating and optimizing towards.
Absolutely. Hey, good morning, T-Bird, our Aussie friend.
T-Bird, true legend. All right, everyone. Randy, you have been a great interview. Remember at the beginning of the stream, you were in the green room, but I was like, it's going to be a good interview. And then you just manifested it. That's what happened. That's just what happened.
Absolutely. I love it, man. I'm gonna start streaming. I'm gonna start doing a daily stream. I don't know if it's gonna be late night or early morning, but I'm gonna start doing a daily stream just because I just need to start doing live streams. I want to build up my YouTube channel as well. Why not, man? We need as many of us, our numbers. We need to pump those numbers up of people out there talking about PulseChain and anything that comes with it, as well as, I'll talk about other things too. I'll talk about gold and silver. I'll talk about anarchism. I'll talk about expat living. I'll talk about that kind of stuff. I have lots of subjects to talk about, but my bread and butter is the HEX community. So
gotta pump it up. Gotta pump it up. Money Gang's intro. Don't change the Money Gang. I love that intro so much. Selfishly, I request you don't change it. But
yeah,
I
look at Viacom. Kate Fegger says Viacoin. Yeah, I owned Viacoin back in the day.
Oh, I remember Viacoin. I remember it, man. Remember installing like 100 wallets and just letting them sync blockchains, all the proof of work coins. Yeah, that's true 2017.
Old school.
Yeah. There we go. Last comment all day. That's what I love. Follow Randy at Randy Hilarski, the most
everywhere
name in the world. There you go. Everywhere on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok. On Fans Only, on TikTok. Just guessing, not assuming anything. Everywhere. And follow me at RHMaximalist. Just the way it sounds. If you're listening, no video, at RHMaximalist. On Twitter, RHMax channel is what you're watching right now. And great job, chat. Randy, you brought the crew, man. You brought the heat today. I like that.
Thank you.
And
thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I think so Wednesday I got security AMA coming up Wednesday. So take all your computer, your crypto, your security question, your network, OPSEC, whatever it is, come and let me explain how this stuff works or find an answer for you. Wednesday, got security AMA. Please join me. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of your week. It's Monday. It's the bear market, but don't be sad. Don't be over leveraged, and go follow me and Randy. All right. See everyone later. Bye.
Cheers.